Hi, so I've been getting a lot of doubts regarding multiple myeloma and the role of light chains. So here's a short video on it. So multiple myeloma is nothing but a malignant proliferation of plasma cells. It's a monoclonal gammopathy. So in multiple myeloma, this plasma cell, which is supposed to have CD1938 and 138 positive and supposed to be a descendant of B cells and supposed to participate in humoral immunity by synthesizing immunoglobulins of different classes. And this immunoglobulin in turn supposed to have light chains as well as heavy chains of different subtypes, and different permutations may give rise to a number of these immunoglobulin classes like immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin M, and so on. But one plasma cell will always synthesize only one type of immunoglobulin, which has one particular type of light and particular type of heavy chain. But what happens in multiple myeloma is that slowly there is going to be a proliferation, malignant proliferation of the particular plasma cell, which has gone rogue and ended up losing its CD19 and instead ending up proliferating so much that it overproduces these immunoglobulins, the particular immunoglobulin that it is capable of producing, that is synthesized in excess. And as a result of that, heavy chains as well as light chains will be produced in very large amounts, and so much so that it has a lot of relevance. Anytime that you're suspecting multiple myeloma, please send for serum free light chain assays, because these light chains have such significance that now, according to myeloma defining events, one of the main criteria in slim crab criteria, that is the LI in slim crab, stands for light chain ratio, that is the free light chain ratio. So for example, if the plasma cell is producing a lot of kappa in comparison to lambda light chain, if this ratio, that it's producing a lot of these kappa, that ratio of kappa to lambda, involved to uninvolved ratio, is equal to or greater than 100, then that can be considered as a myeloma defining event. Or it could be the opposite also. It could be lambda that is getting produced in excess, and that's why when you measure the lambda, which will be the involved versus the uninvolved kappa ratio, it will be 100 or more. The ratio will be 100 times or more. Okay, and what happens is, as these light chains are produced in excess, they will invariably be encountered in the kidney, so especially within the glomerulus first. So what can happen is, as a result of this light chain getting deposited within the glomerulus, there can be something known as light chain deposition disease. So light chain deposition disease can occur as a result of predominant kappa more than lambda light chains getting deposited and producing a glomerulopathy. So there is going to be a lot of proteinuria, sometimes even nephrotic range proteinuria. Or it could so happen that these might end up getting deposited further down in the tubules of the kidney. So these are endogenous nephrotoxins. So because of the light chains getting deposited in the tubules, there can be a type of nephrotoxicity which is known as light chain nephropathy or myeloma kidney. Okay, so basically these are endogenous nephrotoxins. There is going to be a secretion of these proteins in the urine. So as these proteins come out in urine, there is something known as overflow proteinuria, because normally these are not supposed to be excreted in the urine, but since the overall concentration of these light chains is more in blood, some will get filtered and end up arriving in the urine, and that is known as overflow proteinuria. The significance of overflow proteinuria is, if we were to try and detect this proteinuria using dipstick method, because dipstick is able to detect only albumin. Here, the kind of protein that is getting excreted is not albumin. So therefore, dipstick method, when detecting this myeloma overflow proteinuria, will not be positive. Instead, you will get a negative report. So we need to send for a specific protein estimation in the urine, which will then turn out to be positive. So remember guys, in overflow proteinuria, urine dipstick method will be negative. Okay, so and one more, of course, property about these light chain proteins is the Benz-Jones proteins. Benz-Jones proteins is nothing but the light chains which end up coming into the urine, and they have this particular property of, when heated, they will end up precipitating in the urine. The urine sample, when it is heated, it will end up precipitating at around 56 degrees, average 56 degrees, between 40 to 60 degrees. But on continued heating, they will redissolve when the temperature reaches 100 degrees. And as the sample is cooled again, they will precipitate at around the same temperature at which they had originally precipitated. So that is a property of Benz-Jones protein, but unfortunately that is not a very sensitive test to detect multiple myeloma. So Always remember, you need to send for free light chain assay anytime that you are suspecting multiple myeloma and try and detect the involved to uninvolved ratio. Hope this helps, guys.